Hello, I'm Julie Robinson, a former independent school head teacher and now the Chief Executive of the Independent Schools Council. Now you'd expect me to say private schools are good for education, but it's not just me. Many people think they're good for all school children. There are lots of reasons why. Here are three. Firstly, 630,000 children are educated in the independent sector, and those children don't need state school places, saving taxpayers £3.5 billion every year. Just think about that number for a moment. 630,000 children is about as many people, children and adults, as live in Glasgow, and that produces a huge saving for the state. Independent schools save the state £3.5 billion every year because their pupils are not educated in the state sector. Additionally, those hard-working parents who choose to send their children to independent schools still contribute to state education as taxpayers, like everyone in the country. If independent schools close, it would heap further financial pressure on state school budgets and leave less money for other vital public services. Parents have a right to choose how they educate their children. It's one of our basic human rights. The parents of children in independent schools just want to do the best for their children, and that's not something anyone should stop. Secondly, independent schools are widening access through bursaries and collaborating with state schools. Hundreds of thousands of pupils and teachers in state and independent schools benefit from first-class educational opportunities through partnerships. In fact, 84% of our schools are involved in partnerships with state schools.
The partnership between my school and the independent sector has brought about the London Academy of Excellence. The London Academy of Excellence is a leading sixth form which has had a profound impact on social mobility and impacts on the outcomes of the young people.
My organisation works with some of the most vulnerable children in state primary and secondary schools. Our collaboration with independent schools has enabled us to work through therapeutic programmes that ensures those children will succeed in their school settings.
Parents who send their children to independent schools don't pay VAT on fees because education of all kinds is exempt from VAT. If politicians decide to change that, we think it would mean hard-working families are priced out, making access only available to the super wealthy and forcing the closure of dozens of independent schools.
I think if VAT were imposed on school fees, and a good number of them would close as a result, I'm sure, that would mean that those children need to be educated somewhere. Those children will essentially go into the state schools, and that will put more pressure on those schools and on the teachers in those schools. More than that though, the really good state schools will be very attractive to wealthy parents. And if they've got the means, which they will have, they're just going to buy property next to good schools and get into the schools that way.
Thirdly, independent schools contribute more than £13 billion to the UK economy every year, and already contribute £4 billion in tax revenue to the Treasury. That's a lot of money, and they don't do it by being like this. Today's independent schools are a world away from this image. They're modern, diverse and inclusive. 1 in 4 independent school pupils receive help with fees at their school. Overall, assistance with fees is worth £1 billion every year. So there are just 3 of the many good reasons why independent schools are proud to be a vital part of the national education system. Thanks for watching.